All right, welcome back. This is still the POLITY. Right now, I'll be delving into some matters arising, including the Presidential Election Tribunal and other issues in the run-up to the inauguration of the President-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on May 29th. I've been joined now by a legal practitioner, Mr. Samuel Ihienseken Jr. He joins me now to do some justice to the topic. Welcome back. It's good to have you again.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's start with the last report there we played before we came back from the break, and that is the report on the Labour Party leadership tussle. So very quickly, I'd like to get your professional opinion. There are fears that the tussle is going to lead or is going to end up with one faction somehow withdrawing the presidential election tribunal case as some sort of ploy by the other parties who see Peter Obi as a threat. Is this in any way legally possible? And before you answer, I'd just like to remind our guests, our viewers, that our phone lines are open. You can call in and make your contributions.
Okay, yeah. Coming to the issue of the Labour Party, I foresaw these things that are happening. I saw the very not too pleasant court cases that will come after the aftermath of the presidential election internally within them. And for someone who has been involved in the activities and who have been close to them, I have a first-hand knowledge of some of the workings and some of the... It's quite unfortunate that it's actually coming at a time when they have a presidential election petition hanging before the Court of Appeal. However, the summary of the analysis of what is actually happening to Labour Party is that, contrary to the earlier position I actually preferred, is that before now, the Lamidi Apapa faction, who used to be an inner caucus member of the Labour Party leadership, actually approached the court and asked him in court for some certain reliefs. And one of the gravamen of one of those reliefs is for the present national chairman in the person of Julius Abreu to step aside. And he got an interim injunction sequent to application made before Justice Maozu of the FCT High Court. Subsequently, there was a challenge to that by different parties who were joined in that matter, including Julius Abreu, who filed different applications before the FCT High Court. I understand from the report I heard that just last week, the FCT High Court affirmed the jurisdiction of the court to hear that matter, and it went further to actually restate and legitimize and extend the interim orders that were earlier granted, and adjourn subsequently, I think, to this next Friday for the hearing of that matter. However, I keep saying the extant court orders are actually sacrosanct. They must be obeyed, they must be complied with. I don't know the position of the arborist faction of the Labour Party as at today's date, if they have actually filed an appeal and if they have actually filed a motion for stay of execution. If there is actually a pending appeal or there is a motion for stay of execution, leverage can still be given to them as to continue in a little bit in that office, not purely in contempt to the orders of the court, but the position of the law is that when you file a motion for stay, an appeal has been entered or has been properly entered alongside the motion for stay of execution. Alongside with that, the position of the law is that that order will be in partial abeyance till when that motion is decided. If that is what Julius Abreu's faction of the Labour Party has done, I can understand. But if none of this has been done, an appeal has not been done, and a motion to stay that orders as granted by Justice Maozu of the FCT High Court, I think the orders of the court expressly must be obeyed. They must step down from office in compliance with the court order, and the position is that the Lamidi Apapa's faction is actually the substantive and the substantive ESCO that should exist today. But in the instance where a motion for stay and there's a pending appeal which has been properly entered before the Court of Appeal, then Abreu's faction can still continue being in office while they pursue legitimately all other court action they have with the Lamidi action. Coming to the issue as to, we have been seeing instances this way. Sometime after the last election in 2019, there was a conflict between the then APC, who didn't field a candidate in Rivers State at the last 2019 elections. The AAC, who happens to be my friend Omoyele Sorore's political party. Actually, they came second in that election because they enjoyed the support of the Rotimi Amichi's led APC then, if you remember this scenario. So, and Surere was actually in a very cantankerous, very not too pleasant circumstances, just like the Labour Party is actually facing now, with a certain, forgotten his name, a guy from the same Port Harcourt, who actually went to the FCT, to the Federal High Court, got orders, which has been set aside by the Court of Appeal now, got orders from Justice Ekwo, and he was said to be the national chair. What they did is that they came over to River State, and they withdraw the legal team the AAC was using to prosecute the election tribunal, and subsequently they put in a very watery and not a palatable defense of the petition they have filed. And the end mark was that the result and the what transpired was that the court affirmed River State and Governor Ihienseken as the legitimate winner of that election. So we and several other instances. So we have had scenarios like that. The Labour Party, they should be very careful. And if there's any possibility of an ADR settlement, to reach out to the Lamide faction, is my candid counsel. They should reach out to them, because this thing they see as small is enough to jeopardize their future. Is enough to jeopardize the petition they have. So they should employ wisdom and reason and see how legitimately they can actually regulate their affairs internally. Also, too, the court has heard in several instances that political parties' dispute is actually a matter for the political party internal mechanism. It's not something that should be brought to court. Yeah. I hope to see what will transpire after this. The FCT High Court has pronounced on what is happening at the Labour Party's leadership.
All right, quickly moving on now. What are your thoughts leading up to the inauguration now, and all the politics going on here and there?
Yeah, the same thing I said yesterday. It's the call for. Thank God, before I came here, I saw the opinions and the interview that was granted by learned, respected constitutional lawyer Olisa Agbakuba, who has finally. I think he has not spoken on this issue of inauguration. I think I take reasons with him and I take sides with him, in the sense that the inauguration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu Asiwaju must go on. He must be sworn in office. There's no rationale. There's no reason. As of today, there is no court order prohibiting him being sworn in as the president of Nigeria come May 29th, which is originally settled as the day for the inauguration of the president, traditionally by precedent. So I don't see anything stopping him. Anybody who have a court case regarding the outcome of the election, they are free to ventilate their grievances. I can sympathize with them. As I've said yesterday, and I've gave a very lucid and a very practical illustration. Before this time, Obi was a governor. His elections were challenged as a governor, then by Charles Olodo and some other parties when he won the Anambra State governorship election. His second coming into office. Did he step down from the office? Dati Ahmed won the seat to the Senate from Kaduna, and he was being challenged by Ahmed Makafi. Did he step down? Atiku Abubakar, alongside Obasanjo, they were challenged at several instances by President Buhari. They were challenged in the court by Olufalaye. Did they step down? So what has changed? These are the precedents, and the precedent are supposed to act as guide. So I think the inauguration should go on. There should be no anything that will stop inauguration. I think it's going to be very illegal, and it will actually affect our budding democracy.
All right. That being said, what are your thoughts on the shaping up or the intensification of the race for Senate and House of Reps Speaker?
Yes.
What do you make of the politics that is going on at the moment?
Yes, I am a little bit close to a couple of persons who are also friends to some of this, and I could hear whispers that Tajuni Abbas is being projected for the seat for the House of Reps. And a certain Betera from Maduguri is also being projected also as speaker. These are two credible candidates, and I don't want to prejudice the outcome of who we actually, but more importantly is my candid advice to the leadership of the National Assembly in actually looking at leadership. Everybody must be carried along. You know, we have a house that is for the House of Reps coming down to the speakership, there are calls for the, coming down to the Senate president, there are calls for the Senate president to be zoned to the southeast. I don't think that is actually a bad call in the spirit of federal character, in the spirit of national spread. I think the southeast should be given a sense of belonging. The seat for the Senate, on principle, not on law, on principle originally should be given to them. But I also hear whispers that Akpabio is also being projected. I don't have anything against him, but personally, such persons do not enjoy my support. I also hear Uzokalu too is also being projected. I don't have anything against him, but I don't think if I was in a position to actually have a say on who should be the Senate president, I don't think he will also enjoy my support. So the whole essence is that we also must understand that there are also persons of other parties like SDP, like Labour Party, like PDP, who seems to have quite a number. So they should also be carried along. Consultations, I don't see any reason why both the Senate president and the speakership should not come from the opposition party. It all borders on actually.
Do you think they are unified enough?
I think, you know, the money factor in Nigerian politics is not becoming a recurring decimal. Yes, it's not becoming a recurring decimal. And it's not too so fine that it will.
But do you think money can also sway the veterans? I know there are a lot of new intakes into the National Assembly, but does that still play a big effect for those who
the interesting thing about this National Assembly is that half of them are not returning. And so its money will play a very big factor. Consideration and other things will actually play a big factor. So I think what we should do is that the credibility and the competence of the candidates that are being projected should be subjected to scrutiny by members elect. They should check. They should, overall, in all these things we are saying, the interests of Nigeria supersede whatever interest any political party has. So the National Assembly, they should make it as a point of call. The persons they are projecting to head these two sensitive positions. And also, too, we are coming at a critical stage where the National Assembly should hold the executive accountable. So it's my advice to them, in choosing a candidate, let them look for a very credible candidate that can actually deliver the dividends of democracy and the sole purpose for which they were elected in office.
All right, that's fair enough. Just to, still quickly go back to the issue of the Presidential Election Tribunal.
Yes.
How do you still see that shaping up? Do you see any upsets? And also on the issue of media coverage, I asked you before, but I'd still like to get your thoughts.
It's at the liberty of the tribunal to decide if they want to allow the press to cover it. They have that discretion. It's not something anybody should make word of, provided members of the public are giving access to the venue of the tribunal.
But is it a development in the judicial process?
In other climes, in other jurisprudence, the Maldives, Malawi, Kenya, it was televised live. But I don't think that should be a precedent for Nigeria to follow. It's left, we have a very peculiar judiciary, and it's left for our judiciary to adopt whatever style that fits them. I don't think that should be made an issue for Ahulabu, or it should be a question where people should start crying or drawing daggers. Let them allow the court decide on whether they want the press to actually look into or record the activities of what is going on at the tribunal. Also, the Nigerian factor, there's an issue of security. So the witnesses who are coming to testify, when the camera capture them, what is going to happen afterward? So those are the considerations.
That's interesting. Yes. Yeah, indeed. I wonder how others have managed to.
Yes. Except they are going to be masked. They are going to, which is against the. I've not seen in a civil matter.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, election petitions are sui generis, but they come under the review of civil matters. So would they be? I've never seen a civil matter where the witnesses are covered and hooded, like as we do in criminal trial when we do terrorism trial, accidental matters. So the witness, they must see their demeanor, you must see their face. So I don't think with our present climate, I don't really feel, my opinion though, that the press should be giving, they can cover it, they can come take their notes, but to have a televised coverage of the what is going to be at the tribunal, I don't think it's actually ideal.
All right, let's round up now with two stories. One, a bit of a happy story or happy ending, and the other one not so much. The issue of Seun Kuti
Yes.
As of today, I believe he has been paraded or arraigned, so to speak.
Yeah, it was arraigned, and I quite understand when before coming here, I with other schedules, I saw that he was granted bail in a not very comfortable. I understand he was granted. I cannot confirm the report. I base it on what I saw shared from Omoyele Sorere's page. I understand that he was granted bail with the condition to still be kept with the police for investigation. And I kind of I don't want to question I'm not in the capacity to question whatever the judge has actually pronounced, but in my years of practice as a lawyer, I think I'm developing. I've never heard that the suspect will be granted or defender will be granted bail and he will be asked to still be kept in custody. So my concern is what will be after now. What will be the precedent? You know, we should be careful in Nigeria. Let's not give in to the antics of whatever we want to play out. So I believe he should be given his fair day. He should be given a fair trial. He should be allowed to employ the best defense, and the police too should also gather their evidence, and they should swiftly prosecute, so that wherever the actions of Shehu that was recorded on video is highly condemnable. But I also feel, as I've said yesterday, and some eminent lawyers have come out to actually deprecate and condemn the act by the police. What they have done yesterday amounts invariably or impliedly to an unconstitutional and illegal police parade that is illegal under the Administration of Criminal Justice Law of Lagos State, Section 2 and Section 9. It should be condemned, and I urge Kule after this episode, Shui, after this episode, to please seek redress with the Federal High Court or the FCT High Court of Lagos State. All
right, very quickly, we just have a few minutes left now. I'd just like to get your thoughts on the record that has been broken by a Nigerian chef, Hilda, pardon me,
Basi,
it's almost like my mind. Yeah, what do you make of that, and what do you think?
You know, the spirit of the Nigeria, you see, some of us we will have our options to leave this country, but we cannot leave this Nigeria. So I want to enjoy all youths. You see, it has come to a point whereby the Nigerian spirit is greater than the Nigerian troubles. We must understand that this is one of the greatest countries we have on planet Earth. I've traveled to some other countries, and there's no beautiful country as Nigeria. Hida has actually demonstrated the resilience, the strength, boldness, courage of a real African and a traditionally Nigerian woman. It is a beautiful record. It has shown that Nigeria, when given the opportunity and space, given the facilities, they can actually thrive anywhere. It's also a call on our leaders to also understand whereby Nigerians, we don't have a problem. They should come, they should try, they should seek, they should rearrange their mind, and they should know that the people are their first call. And they, as leaders, they must see how they can deliver the dividends of democracy. We can see that from the Hida episode, you saw Nigerians from all walks of life. Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Edo, Efi, Urobo. Everybody went out to Lekki to support him. That is to show that Nigeria are more united than they are divided in politics. And so it's a call, and I also urge all Nigerians, no matter what they are going through, they should never give up. They should keep hoping there is a better tomorrow ahead of us.
Those are very great words there, and a very great way to end the program. Thank you so much for that. I hope we do take that home with us and dwell on it. Never give up. And also, I remember that we are closer to one another than we are to some of the politicians that seek to separate us. And let's continue to work hard and aim high. Thank you so much. That's all we can take on the POLITY today. See you tomorrow and across the weekdays, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. daily. Have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow. I am Amadin. Bye for now.